Well, good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, October the 9th. It's 10 o'clock. And as promised, I said I would have another virtual town hall session. So we're going to be doing that this morning. I don't have anybody in the room right now because it's a Saturday morning and people have things to do. But I did want to give people a chance if they did work, during the week, or they didn't have a chance to catch us some weekday morning I was on or the weeknight I was on. I at least want to have a chance on a Saturday where people could visit if they wanted to. That's not going to stop me from presenting what I have to say. Just want to welcome those who are watching via the replay. I know that I do get quite a few people that have watched the replay on YouTube, and we're glad about that. There is, let me share the screen here because there is, I want to make sure that you know how to reach out if you need to contact me. And let's go to the photos here. I apologize, in the last town hall, some of the things didn't share on the screen the way I really wanted them to, but technology, it's for the kids. No, anyway, I should have known better, but let us share this. Every once in a while I say, well, Pat, I don't know how to get a hold of you. You could Google me, or you could follow these directions here. You can always telephone me or text me, 641-420-1234. My home phone number is 641-456-4268. That rolls into my cell phone, so you can't text that or anything, but that is my home phone number if you want to call locally from Hampton, don't want to dial long distance. Email Yankees with a Z at mchsi.com. Always reach out to me on Facebook at The Real Patrick Palmer. And on the web, you could use my my computer guy website there. There's a little box here. You can reach out to me on there. And also the city of Hampton has a website, hamptonia.us, and you can reach me on there as well. So anytime you have a question, comment, concern, reach out. I always answer all my emails and get back to people as far as that goes. I've got a cat that's rubbing my leg, so it's a little bit of a distraction this morning. But let's talk about, I don't want to really, we talked about nuisances, we talked about code enforcement, talked about the Alma, Iowa plan that they have that I want to bring forward, property tax relief for home improvements. We've talked about the cemetery stuff. So anyway, I want to talk about this morning. We did a survey. NIACOG set up a survey. What we originally wanted to do is I brought forward, I wanted to have a series of town meetings, hire a facilitator, and have 4 or 5 town meetings around town. Well, before the pandemic, people did go to meetings a lot. They sometimes were inconvenient. You had to schedule them around basketball games and football games and all sorts of things like that. Well, then NIACOG came up with the idea, why don't we just do a survey and put it out in the library and at City Hall, and you just logged in online and did it, or you could actually fill out the paperwork, turn it in, and we would have somebody transcribe that and put that in our in a survey. So what we did, we went with that because I think it was free or very, very low cost. I think it was free. NIACOG does that. The North Iowa Council of Governments does that. And there are various councils of governments around the state that take care of smaller towns like Hampton or like all the towns. I don't think Des Moines has a COG, but they've got their own stuff. So it is a good resource for us to use. Right now we're using NIACOG with our housing improvements. But anyway, they did a survey, and we never really went over the survey with the public. We got it back, and then we had a strategic planning meeting, several of those, that the mayor was in charge of. And then we had COVID hit, and strategic planning meetings just, to me, never go as well unless you're in the same room. And so we kind of dropped the ball on that. And I do know that after January 1st, we're going to be having more of those meetings as well. And I think we're actually going to hire a facilitator for that. Sometimes we have somebody from Iowa State Extension or NIACOG, somebody of that caliber come in and facilitate a meeting. I think that the mayor was having a lot of conflicts as far as when he could do it, and we're just going to get it done third party. So anyway, we had the survey come out, and it was quite telling. I knew going into it, we had to develop the questions, and we put a couple of questions in there that we knew would be telling for our city, but we had to have those. You just can't say, everything looks good. That's not the point of the survey. We wanted the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we got quite a bit of ugly. And we did get some good, and that's good as well. But we're going to just go, I'm not going to go through the Q&A of the survey. I want to just go through the graphs because they're easy to read, and we can do the questions at a later date. I'll schedule maybe a couple more town hall meetings at night, and then we can go through the actual survey as far as what people wrote. So let's go to the survey that is kind of the graphical survey, because everybody loves pie charts. And if they don't love pie charts, they love bar graphs, and we have both of this. So basically, we had 453 people that took the survey, and really, that's a little over 10%. And if you know anything about surveys, anything over 3% is really good. And we had probably 11, 12% of people take the survey. As a matter of fact, we broke it down to if you currently work within the city limits of Hampton, and we had a majority of people that did that. One person skipped it. They didn't know if they did or not. Do you rent or own? And this was important too. Renters do have a voice. I've heard people say, well, they don't pay property taxes. Well, yes, they do. They pay property taxes as part of their rent. And so if the rent is X, a sliver of that goes to the landlord for their property tax. So it's not a direct payment to the county, but it is part of their rent, and they do get to pay property tax in that area. But it was nice to have a lot of people who own their home vested in the community take the survey. This was a good smattering of ages. I was really impressed with the 25 to 34 group that was represented. I was impressed by the 55 to 64. Back a couple years ago, I was in the 45 to 54 range. Now I'm not, but that's kind of a good representation, a good mix. I just didn't want it all young people. I just didn't want it all old people. I wanted a good mix of people in the community. And then two people didn't know how old they were, so they skipped the question. That always stuns me how they do that. Do children under 18 live in your home? And no, was the majority there. These are good questions. We want to know, what type of new or additional retail stores does Hampton need? And as you see, about 60% say we need another restaurant. And I would definitely agree with that. Clothing store, farm supply store, small discount store, big box store were also in the top areas there. Potential livability improvements. How important is it to dedicate new or additional resources to the following in Hampton? And here's the meanings of these, what the colors mean. So highly important, the availability of retail was somewhat important to a lot of people. A lot of people just didn't answer the question. Private property, I think the rest of this question was private property on or near downtown. And I never understood why we asked that question, but we did. Inclusivity, including everybody in our community. That was somewhat important. Law enforcement, very important. Parks and natural resources, highly important. Farmers market, somewhat important. We have a very, very good farmers market. It's now at the corner where Hardee's is, that empty lot where Hardee's is. I wish we could have a spot where you had more access. You know, you can't stop in the middle of Highway 3. You have to go around the corner, and sometimes that becomes congested. But I'd like to, I wish we had a little different location for that. But they are thankful for what they have. But let me just say that. Removing junk and junk vehicles, highly important. Sidewalks, highly important. Communication, phone, TV, internet, highly important. Thank goodness we are getting another competitor in this mix who will have very high speeds and also provide telephone and TV to the residents as well. And they're doing site surveys as we speak in town right now. Potential community facility improvements. How important is it to dedicate new or additional resources to address the following facilities in Hampton? Of course, we're on the same grid as far as highly important, somewhat important, no opinion. Tennis courts, not really that big of a deal. Somewhat important, underutilized buildings. That means filling the buildings, the empty buildings we have, or developing them a little bit different. The aquatic center or programming like that, it's somewhat important. Public library, somewhat important. We always support the library. Lighting for our parks and trail system. This is important to me because I think there's a big safety issue. I've noticed other communities that do have lighting. I think there's a lot of down in, I think it's Manchester or Independence, down in that area. They have a lighting trail, I believe it is powered by solar. It's a very, very good lighted trail. And we really need to address this. People do like to walk early in the morning. They do like to walk late at night. You know, I've never been a fan of walking when it's 95 degrees out, but I've never been a fan of walking that much. I did that when I was a kid in Scouts. So it's highly important that we do have lighting for our trails and park systems. Now, the park systems, you know, you can't be in the parks after 10:30 at night. So like, you know, sometimes the basketball courts light will stay on, or tennis court lights will stay on for a little bit longer. But anyway, lighting, this basically means, I believe, lighting for our park system and trail system, which I believe the trail system is very important on that. So I really want to put that into a comprehensive plan somewhere where we can find out from other communities. I believe Carroll, Iowa also has a lighted trail. Independence or Manchester, like I said, has one too. Potential housing improvement areas. Rehabilitate rental housing. Very important to a lot of people. With the latest, when we had COVID, I believe that some renters could skip payments, rent payments or whatnot. And so you may have found, or we may have found, that some landlords didn't have money to stick into their homes for new paint, new siding, new roof. You know, they're worried about a furnace, they're worried about AC, things like that. And so rehabilitate rental housing is a big one. Rehabilitate owner occupied, also important and somewhat important. So these are pretty much tied for the top. I would say that's an important thing too. Emergency home repair. Sometimes you have a tree that falls in the roof. You have a broken water pipe. You have, you know, furnace goes out. Construct new rental housing. There are people that just can't find what they can afford, or there's, you know, not any rental housing available. Construct for new housing. I think that we need a new subdivision in town. I think that an ideal subdivision would be like right around that radio station area back behind there. I think that would be a very nice location for another subdivision. You know, once in a while drive for Lyft and Uber, and I haul a couple of dentists that live in the Ventura Clear Lake area, and they say, we just love Hampton, we just love Hampton. I said, okay, then why don't you move here? Well, they can't find the quality of house or the place to build it that they would like. So I think that in the near future, I think we need to look at a subdivision or two in town. Senior housing is also a concern. Affordable senior housing. Construct new homes, somewhat important as well. Develop affordable housing. I think this is, that's what that was, develop affordable housing, very important also. Infrastructure. Expand the bike trail network, somewhat important. Signage, entrance signage into town. I've said this time and time again, and people are tired of me talking about it. You know, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. You drive into Hampton, you see those faded Hampton signs. At the next city council meeting on Monday night, we're going to be talking about those signs and talking with the Chamber of Commerce. They replaced them last year or last time from RAGBRAI money that was raised. And so hopefully this time they will also replace them as well, or we need to figure out a solution. Improve the current streets. That is an absolute must. But there are two things that factor into that. You can always fix streets. We could spend money until our city is destitute fixing streets, and then we don't have money for anything else. So we have to balance that. Now, this last, probably in the last 3 or 4 months, we have had several street projects going on to make Hampton better. I believe the last city council meeting, we approved around $450,000 for street payments, and not one dime of that was put on a company credit card or on the city credit card. So that's an improvement where we have to balance wants and needs against going into debt to pay for it. And so as long as we have the money budgeted for that, we can do it. Now, you pay for roads. Everybody says, well, I pay taxes. I need my road fixed. That's not how roads get fixed. The primary source of funding for fixing roads is the road use tax fund. You pay road use tax fund when you fill up with a tank of gas. So, and that is based on population. The higher the population, the higher you get, the more money you get for road use tax. So I feel bad. Let's say, for example, Rockwell. I don't know, their population might be around 1,500 maybe. And they've had 2 different detours where everybody just cuts through Rockwell to go to Mason City, and Mason City back to Hampton. So that is not the official detour that the DOT has set up. So when people don't use the official detour and they just cut through Rockwell, the DOT doesn't have to give them any money to fix their roads that are all damaged out from cars, trucks, semis, tractors, whatever, going through their town. So that really puts a crunch on a town like Rockwell, who has their streets ruined by people going through town on a shorter detour, like we've had 2 times this summer. Anyway, that's a little bit of that. But you can spend general fund tax money on roads, but just remember the general fund tax money also includes our police department, also includes some of our parks, and also includes several other things, general fund items. So before we spend all of our money on streets, we do need a plan, and we try and do every 3rd year a bigger project. But we replaced the road in back of Quick Star, 2 blocks, cost us over $200,000 as we put down concrete and fixed a few things there as well. So it does cost money, and but it does make our town better. But just keep that in mind when everybody complains about streets. If we fixed every street in town this year and we went into debt so far we couldn't borrow anything else, we spent all our excess money, then what happens? Then what else do we spend money on? If something else breaks. So just keep that in mind. You can always fix streets, and we just have to prioritize them more. And I think we probably need to make the public more aware of the streets that we're going to be fixing ahead of time. Sometimes they just come up, hey, we do have extra money, let's fix the street. Public transit system. I'm not so sure where people are going with that. They do have the bus at the senior center you can call for public transit if you need a ride from here to there. So I'm not really sure on that. City services. People think we ought to have more city services. Let me reread the question on that again. So people want more money spent on city services. I don't know if that means police department or water department or sewer department, whatever, but it's in general, city services. How important are the following economic development goals? Students learning a trade, very important. I remember they used to have the DECA program when I was in school. I don't believe they have that anymore. So I don't know what kids are doing at school. I don't go to school anymore, so I don't really know. Be interesting to find out. This is one of the things I believe that the mayor was wanting to accomplish with his little program he was going to start before COVID. We budgeted some money for him so we could get students aware of government and kind of a two-way street on that. So I think maybe that would be something that would maybe included with his program. Add new jobs, of course. Everybody wants to have new jobs in town, and we've done that quite a bit. In the year 2020, when we had the height of a pandemic, all the new businesses that started around town, some were bigger businesses. You know, we added Value Fresh and a new funeral home and things like that. Hair salon downtown. There was a clothing store downtown. Various things, and we added a lot more home-based business as well too that you may not be aware of. Develop or improve small businesses. We've given out, the chamber gives out signage grants. I've seen Jim Davies' picture in the paper a number of times this past 2 weeks, handing out checks here and there for small businesses. Improve internet speeds. I think that's going to be a big solution come to town when the new internet and phone and TV company come to town. They're promising some very high speeds, and the rates are going to drop. You're going to see Mediacom drop those rates as well because that's how they play ball. Fill vacant storefronts. Very important. We do have a couple of empty storefronts downtown that we need to fill. Business succession plans. When a business retires, want to develop the business into a new owner can take over, or new owners can take over, and that's important. We've had lifetime long business in town, and the owner retires. Just don't want to see the business go out of business. You want to see a succession plan, and that's important for some folks. A big one we've had a lot of discussion about lately is additional daycare services. We have a couple of great daycares in town, but there's always a need for more. And those daycares that we do have are full. Overall satisfaction with city services. Please rate your overall satisfaction for each item. Quality of police, they're satisfied. Fire department, satisfied. Water service, satisfied. We do get some complaints about our water, but I've never had a complaint at our home. Our home's water has always been good. Sewer services, if it flushes, it's good. Quality of our library, very good. City Hall, good. City parks, good. Quality of the cemetery, very good. I've seen probably this last year's probably one of the best years I've seen. Now, granted, it didn't rain a lot, so the grass didn't get unruly like it has in past years. I remember it's always a fight before Memorial Day to get the grass mowed, but yet you want to mow it without chunks of grass from the lawnmower being everywhere. So that's kind of a battle. They've got to time that out just right for mowing the cemetery. Condition of the streets needs improvement. Condition of the sidewalk, no opinion, or needs improvement. And we do need improvement. We're working with NIACOG right now on some sort of a matching grant as far as sidewalks go. Enforcement of nuisances, that's poor, and I would agree with that. Quality of compost site, good. Quality of the airport, well, it's neutral because not everybody owns a plane, but when I've been out there, it's very good, and people are very satisfied with that, or people are satisfied with that, not very satisfied, they're just satisfied. If you could change two things about Hampton, what would they be? And so these are the actual questions and answers. We may go over this at another time when we have more of an interactive crowd with us. What do you like most about Hampton? Priorities for the next 12 months. What is one thing Hampton needs to address in a long-range plan? How important is to spend funds on a new outdoor rec complex, which includes soccer, football, baseball, softball fields? And as you can see, highly important and somewhat important are the majority. Here's a question that kind of seals that up a little bit. If the city decided to build an outdoor rec complex, would you be willing to donate money to the project? Well, a majority would, a slim majority. I said, no, I'm sorry. A majority wouldn't want to donate money to that. But we go back here, it's important. And it's not important for this amount of people, but when you come down to who wants to pay for it, well, nobody wants to, the answer is no, probably by about 55% or 60%. So this is kind of where we are. I believe the price tag of that rec center come in at about $7 million. Granted, we can tweak it down a little bit. I don't know. We didn't have a lot of volunteers, a lot of people on committees for that, and then things just kind of changed and they went away. So hopefully we get some more people back on that or willing to step up. But again, this is the rub between the two, is people feel it's highly important, but people don't want to pay for it. So that's kind of where we're at on that. 19 is more of an essay question. Anyway, that's the survey that we had. And like I said, I'll do another town meeting. We'll announce some other town meetings coming up because I do want to have a good discussion, a lively discussion on these essay answer questions. I was on the phone with somebody the other day and they said, well, Hampton's not racist. Well, you'd be stunned by some of the comments that were as part of those essay questions. It's embarrassing. So anyway, that's we'll cover the essay questions the next time we have a town meeting. So anyway, that's that. But let me get back to stop at that. So that's what we have for today. I appreciate you watching it. Of course, we didn't have anybody show up on a Saturday morning because it's a Saturday morning and people have things to do. But we do appreciate the input. Our next city council meeting is going to be Monday night. A little bit of a change on that, and that's kind of where we are with that. Well, I've got a chance to throw in a free plug here because after all, it's my show. I would like to invite everybody to my 25th anniversary. I'm celebrating my 25th year in business. This is going to be October 26th. It's going to be a chamber after 5. Don't need to be a chamber to stop by. It's going to be Willie's Party Room downstairs at Willie's Sports Bar. Would like to have you stop by. Of course, we're going to have some food. We're going to have some beverages, chips, beef burgers, and who would be, it wouldn't be a party that I threw and if we didn't have some hot wings. So we're going to have hot wings as well too. So anyway, I certainly want to invite you out to help me celebrate my 25th year in business. That's coming up October 26th. It's a Tuesday night, 5 to 7 p.m. Part of a chamber after 5. And we'll have a fun time. And I'm sure there'll be a few stories told as well down there. So I do appreciate everybody for watching the replay on that. I hope you find some interesting things. If you do have any questions, please reach out. Text me, call me, send me an email. I provided all that information at the beginning, and you can find that there. But anyway, that is what we have. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week next week. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.